Yeah, there were parts of the match that I thought were great. I mean, obviously, our offensive numbers looked pretty good. I thought we were really higher behind the service line, but the flip side is I think we really disrupted them from the service line. Northern Iowa is such a great team. So anytime you get a sweep over a team like that, we feel good about it. They're not, they're down a player, they had an injured player 2 days ago, so I know that they're not on full cylinders at this point. But, I think we have a lot of things to improve upon, but I think a good number of those things I think we can improve upon pretty quickly. So that's always positive to, have the opportunity to go back in the gym and see if we can clean things up for next week.
All right, questions, just throw them out if you got them.
Yeah, just playing off of your post-match interview with the broadcast crew and then your comments just now, is there something you can't quite put your finger on in terms of how you feel about that match? It seems like you're thinking that there's something there that you guys left on the floor that you wanted to see play out differently.
I don't know if it's that I don't have my finger on it. I just know that we're not firing to the level that I think we can be firing. We still, the challenges of new pieces, anytime you add a new setter to the mix, it's a work in progress. Every time we change setters, this is what we have to do, because you have players leaving at different times, and now we've got 2 setters on the court as compared to 1, so that adds some additional challenges. But I don't say that as a bad thing. I say that as, this is where I think we can get better. How fast are we gonna run the tempo? Are we gonna run the tempo that fast when the pass is here? Or, okay, now I'm spin setting. Am I gonna go fast here? Those are all little nuances that you have to kind of work through. So, I think that's where I see, and then there's decision making. You would see me talk to the setters of, hey, that's not a bad, like a lot of times we get a kill, so that's not a bad decision, but this might be a better decision next time you run into this situation. And then I thought we had several balls. Northern Iowa threw a lot of tips in that were just communication balls, and that's just getting used to playing next to each other. So it's frustrating, but I know those things will get better.
A 2-0 weekend to start, 2 sweeps. I'm sure you noticed some rust from the girls, but just how good does it feel to have opening games on your belt and to have concrete stuff to work on?
It feels awesome. It was so fun to be out there. I think the players had a good time. It was sure nice to get everyone on the court. And I think what you saw when we got everyone on the court, our level didn't drop too much. Or really at all. So I think that's the exciting thing in the challenge. I'll be transparent. It's the challenge from the coaching perspective of you've got a lot of kids on the bench that could easily be out there. But gosh, it's been a long time, a long road, as we all know, in so many different ways to have the opportunity to play. So it was really fun. And of course you want to win. I've tried to separate that some this year, of just focus on being out there, being grateful, but I think the competitor and all of us, you're thankful to get the victories on top of it.
Would love to get your thoughts on Keely today, and really these first 2 games. She's had a couple of strong performances.
She has, Keely again is like Jayla. They're just carrying so much load, both offensively and from a passing and defensive perspective, and I don't know if people understand how difficult that is, because opponents, they did not do it. Northern Iowa didn't do it, but UNI tried to serve Keely like every single ball. So, teams will a lot of times pick a hitter and just try to wear them out. And Keely has done a great job. I really liked how Keely mixed it up today. Our scouting report was to really mix up our offensive tempo, hit, roll, tip. And Keely did some great roll shots. So that was really great to see her, kind of following game plan and doing a great job on that.
You've talked about Jayla's short memory a lot throughout her career so far. It seems like it was on display again in that first set. She had a couple wide cross-court unforced errors, and then kind of settled in, and before you know it, she's hitting 320. You don't even realize that she got off to a slow start. What does that do to have, for your offense that's trying to work through some new parts and some chemistry things, have a player who can kind of self-correct without needing a whole lot of coaching? They can just wipe off a mistake and focus on the next play.
Yeah, those are the great players, right? The ones that can move on. And the point that stood out to me was when Northern Iowa was making that big push in game 2 at the end, and we let up a bunch of points, and she hit a really big kill down the line. I don't know what that made the score, but it separated us again. I think maybe it made it 23-21, I'm not sure, but I was all of a sudden feeling like, oh my gosh, we'll see how we handle some pressure. And she stepped up and hit an aggressive shot. It wasn't a passive swing, it was an aggressive shot for the kill. So yeah, I think we've got a lot of mentally tough kids on our team, but Jayla definitely does that really well and is needed.
Anything else?
How important is it to have these non-conference games for you guys to work out some of the kinks before you dive into Big East play? I know some leagues and programs weren't even going to get a non-conference schedule, but for you guys to have that opportunity to work those things out, how important is that for this squad?
Well, it's twofold. It obviously gets us prepped for conference, which is big because we're looking at, we've got 2 paths to the NCAA tournament. So one path is qualify for the conference tournament, and that's a big, that's going to be tough too. And so we qualify for the conference tournament, win the conference tournament, right? That's our path to the NCAA tournament. The other path is through our non-conference. And as I told the players before the match today, we're going to have to be really, really clean. We've lost a lot of at-large bids because it's only a 48-team tournament, and every match is precious. And so we, at this point, now if we lodge a bunch of losses over the next week, we may rethink things. But in the short term, each match is an opportunity, and we actually really need to have the focus on playing well and trying to win. Because if we can win, and then we go into conference with a bunch of wins under our belt, all of a sudden we're in that large hunt. So I don't know if we have a ton of time to work out kinks. Now, if we'd gone on 0-2 this weekend, my mindset would have totally shifted. My mindset would have gone straight to conference. Let's just get better. That's our total focus. But right now it's getting better and trying to log some wins so that we're in that large hunt.
Any other questions? All right.
Yeah, actually, I forgot what she was talking about.
It wasn't
Oh,
exciting.
Kiara, sorry, my fault. I don't remember if we asked you about Kiara on Friday, so I had a question about just how she's graded out in her first 2 matches so far, her first 2 starts. I mean, she was really efficient offensively today, and 6 blocks is obviously pretty big deal for what you're trying to replace there in the middle.
Yeah, I think Kiara's done a phenomenal job. I think the thing that's impressive about Kiara is her presence on the court. She doesn't look like a timid freshman, does she? She's out there, she's assertive, she's aggressive. She believes that she should be out there, and I mean that in a good way, like she's confident. So I think she had a great first weekend, and I think her upside is really big.